Failure may be inevitable, but there are scientific values behind it. We've got to learn how to fail faster so we can learn smarter. Join me and let's uncover the hack behind failures. In these episodes, we'll get inside the minds of the successful, discuss the failures they've had in the past, and analyze what made them tick so we all learn from it. Welcome to Set to Fail podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Indolos. What's going on, everybody? This is Joseph. You're listening to Set to Fail podcast, the show that aims to analyze many failures so we can reverse engineer some of these insights, convert it to business opportunities, or even life learning lessons. Today I have a very, very special guest. I have here a friend of mine, Louie Lawrence Lamis. Louie, welcome to the show.
Yep, always a pleasure, brother. Haba, no?
Great, yes.
L na lang L.
LL. He's used to be called LL. And quick facts or trivia. Louie is my brother, bandmate before, maybe more than a decade, right? So
Yeah.
awesome. So excited to have you on the show. I know you have a lot of life experiences that I think can provide a lot of value, not just for our fellow countrymen, but also dun sa mga upcoming generations, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
maybe we can start with a quick introduction of your your background, anong pinagkakaabalahan mo ngayon, and some of the things that make you busy these days.
Yeah, so jumped in na tayo with my professional journey. So, I mean, majority of my professional career is leaning towards technical support from ISP, going to Microsoft, wherein we all know if you work for Microsoft, so technically everything under the sun, you need to cater. Though it's consumer, but that, in a nutshell, that's the idea. Everything under the sun. Yeah, more than a decade. And then I was looking for another opportunity. So that's when I found out about this MSP business.
Okay.
MSP business wherein dun ako nabukas yung isip ko, may ganito pala, may ganitong.
And then to our listeners, MSP means managed service provider.
Yep, okay. Managed service provider. So later on we'll dive into specifics kung ano talaga yung MSP, but the nature of my job is more on after they buy the software from us, kami yung mag-assist kay partner on technically how to set up and how to use yung platform.
Nice.
So yun. So MSP, what's MSP? So technically it means managed service provider. So in a nutshell, yun sa example sa current ng Philippines, 'di ba? All companies have their own IT personnel.
Right.
IT department. So MSP, basically the idea is instead of having your in-house IT
Internal team, yeah.
They're gonna hire a group of people. So siguro in a way parang yung term kasi dito sa Pinas is agency. Parang ganun. Parang ganun yung idea. So bakit nila ginagawa yan? First, of course, yung cost cutting. Yung cost cutting, at least if they're gonna be hiring someone outside their company, hindi sila forced to pay benefits and everything, but ganun yung idea nung MSP business. I know dito sa Pilipinas, seldom you're gonna be hearing that term, but meron na unti-unti, but yun yung idea.
Okay, that's nice. And even in I do believe in like a proponent sa focused efforts. So meaning sometimes whenever you're setting up a company, let's say, or a startup, and a lot of people are visionary, they're entrepreneur, they have a developer background, they have a finance background, but the reality is reality hits them, then yung IT kasi pala is very important, right? So
True.
which is apparently they don't have a lot of experience to deal with, right? So I think that's the reason why the concept of managed service providers is very critical these days. Because it's not just about cutting costs, but also freeing up your time to focus on the right tasks. Meaning yung generating revenue for your company, and you don't need to worry about security and network and things like that. So
Yep, I agree. Kasi maraming MSP, specifically sa US, na magugulat ka if you're gonna be asking them kung ano yung background nila. Magugulat ka, hindi naman talaga sila IT. But with the blessing of yung mga monitoring software,
technology,
na nila yun, na venture out nila yung skill na yun, so I can dive into this kind of business na technical outside dun sa comfort zone nila. May opportunity na okay, pwede pala akong mag-put up ng ganitong business, which is yung MSP nga.
Yeah, and then in terms of second question, more of like life challenges, and let's kind of pedal back dun sa panahon na pre-pandemic, and then right now post-pandemic. Hopefully tapos na yung pandemic. But maybe if you can share your story, especially yung podcast kasi is about helping people anticipate na there's going to be failures in life. At some point you'll fail at something, and you need to embrace and accept it, but at the same time don't stay there and then fail forward, right? And then try to learn quicker from that lesson. So maybe if you can share some of your the things that happened, how was it, how difficult it was nung nag-work from home, especially I'm assuming there are like mental health struggles as well, kasi naka-confine tayo ng 2 years sa mga bahay-bahay natin. So how was it like, and then how did you stay motivated dun sa process na yun?
Siguro itong this pandemic thought as something na I mean, there are definitely things na it's beyond our control. It's beyond our control. But at the same time, it's a humbling experience din na by knowing na there are things na it's beyond your control. You tend to cherish yung bagay na
small things.
Yeah. I won't say small things kasi example na lang, marami tayong kababayan, not just dito sa Pilipinas, worldwide madaming pumanaw, but then again kamukha na we were able to be blessed na magkaroon ng ganitong discussion.
Yes.
Na yung buhay na meron tayo currently na ini-enjoy natin, ibig sabihin may purpose pa tayo dito sa lupa.
Yes.
And yun yung beauty. May mga tao na they're still looking for that purpose. Yun, we just need to stay on track And eventually, i-reveal naman sa atin ng Panginoon yung yung purpose na yon. So siguro work from home, lahat tayo naka-experience. Ako personally, yung career journey ko, majority of the time office, cubicle and everything. But nung work from home, ay may pros and cons eh. Of course, you don't need to travel. You don't need to travel and everything. Magkano na yung masasave mo doon. But at the same time, tinuturo is one thing na take away ko dito sa pandemic na to is given na may nasa work from home tayo, yung discipline eh.
Yeah.
Yung discipline na you na to stay in that moment regardless kung wala ka sa opisina o
integrity,
right? O hindi. And at the same time, yung consistency. I'm not saying na I'm not saying na I'm perfect at that, but what I can say is yung tinuro sa akin work from home is you lahat tayo in a work in progress in terms of yung pagtatrabaho, but embrace lang natin yung nire-reveal ng pang-araw-araw sa atin na ano ba yung kailangan na i-work on mo, kasi again lahat tayo work in progress.
Yeah. Great. So we talked about kanina yung MSP and all. So how did you land your current role? I mean, especially marami ring listeners most likely that are still trying to find their next career path, right? So from your experience, how did you get your job, and that will be a great learning experience for people.
Yeah, I mean, yung title ng podcast na to is very appropriate dun sa journey ko, kung paano ko nalan yung job ko na customer success, partner success na trabaho. Kasi I'm not sure about the numbers kung anong year yun. In yung context, sabihin na lang natin nag-apply ako dito sa Enable. Nag-apply ako sa Enable. Front desk, I was just told na to leave my resume.
Okay.
And then did not receive any email or anything. And then fast forward, siguro mga more than 5 years. More than 5 years. Yun nga eh. Magtiwala lang talaga tayo kung kailan. Me personally, I believe dun sa tamang timing ni Lord, kung kailan darating yung mga opportunity. Kasi in the end of the day, parang pandemic, there's really something na maraming bagay na hindi natin control, pero ang Diyos lang yung may control. So fast forward, ito na may nag-opening na trabaho, is smooth. Natanggap ako dito sa Enable. Actually, after receiving, kasi initially nag-apply ako dito, walang post. I did receive 4 rejection emails. Ang ganda nitong again, set to fail. So, yep, kahit naman sino, di ba? You receive 4 rejection emails. So, sino ba namang hindi madi-discourage? Yeah, tao lang tayo. But, yun yung natutunan natin sa failure eh. For sure, lagi ka may takeaway sa failure. So, me personally, takeaway ko dun is just stay on the course. Just stay on the course. Yun yung ginawa ko. Eventually nag-reach ulit sila na we open a new position. So ito na nga yung partner success na more on demo. Kami yung nag-show kay partner kung paano gamitin yung RMM tool ng Enable. So yun.
That's nice.
From failure again, let's think of it na not necessarily a failure, but it's a step na stepping stone towards dun talaga sa win eh. Laging may win naman eh.
Yeah, that's beautiful because experiencing life go full circle is really a satisfying experience. Kasi imagine, 5 years ago you got declined, and then eventually, you still got the job, right?
Yeah.
So that means resilience is really something that not just the entrepreneurs or all. It's really about us, everyone. Like you should not give up, and then try to learn, see things from a different perspective, different angle. Na it's okay to fail, right? See things na whenever you fail. Kasi nung bata tayo, in our traditional or cultural setting, whenever there's a failure, it's almost every time it's like equivalent to a punishment, right? So going forward, I think that mindset is slowly changing, especially some modern era, and we'll talk about that a little bit. How you do your parenting style and all, but in terms of going back to your expertise, yung domain expertise mo sa current role, what were the key learnings you saw in various industries that let's say Philippine companies or organizations or even yung local government units can help avoid, and at the same time can also adapt? So pros and cons, right? So ano yung mga nakita mong mga trends that could be beneficial in the long term?
So yun, just like what I mentioned earlier, so from consumer-based kind of technical support, so switching to MSP, one word struck me. It's the word proactive. We all know user or consumer-based, yung support is there's a problem, they'll call you, but going dun sa MSP side, from the word proactive, you're gonna install their software and then let the software do the job. Na before the problem hits you, because may mga alerts, may mga threshold ka na mga set. Example, servers, di ba? We understand how critical servers are on IT infrastructure.
Yes.
So if there's alerts or if there are parang connectivity struggle dun sa server na yun, before pa talagang mag-bog down yung server, you get to receive alerts. So ibig sabihin you get to prepare yung IT admins mo bago pa.
There's like an assistance, if you will, right? So
kasi parang being proactive is sa health, lagi nating naririnig yun, di ba? Yung tawag dito, help me, yung being sa health, parang
like being proactive sa fitness or what.
Sorry, nakalimutan ko yung term.
No. What I think what you're getting at is, don't see the technology as yung kalaban siya. Rather, use it to your own advantage. Parang make the technology, especially yung machine learning and AI, artificial intelligence. They're here to. There are some concerns. Like yung mga natatakot yung mga tao dahil baka daw mag-change, mag-replace ng a lot of current setup and all. But I see, from my perspective, I see it as like an assistance to human intervention. And then it helps you become proactive. Kasi being proactive requires a lot of energy to begin with, lalo na sa manual process.
True.
Let's say you're analyzing, hypothetically, let's say 1 million records. do you think it's possible for one person? It's going to be difficult, right? Especially if there are some trying to get inside of your system, na mga bad people. It's going to be difficult to analyze 1 million records in just a span of time. So leveraging yung current tools na AI, machine learning, but at the same time having a person eyeball yung data na present sa'yo na false positive ba to, that is something critical. And also to our point earlier, yung government natin, for example, or some of our existing traditional brick and mortar companies, everything is manual, right? So kailangan siguro natin medyo mag fairly automated way na tayo sa mga things. And it's happening, right? I've seen SM adapt to the modern technology. May mga chatbot na nga yan sila sa Facebook accounts nila eh. Even yung mga banks natin, excuse me, yung mga other private sector outfits.
Slowly,
Slowly we tend to cope up dun sa other powerful countries, but yun man maganda, at least may nakita yung progress. And then yun nga, the beauty about this podcast is we
learn from a lot of failures, and then instead of replicating the failure, then let's just try to avoid it, right? So
ano ko na yung term, so lagi natin ito manarinig, no? I-ano rin natin sa context ng IT, prevention is better than cure.
Yes, exactly.
That's the in a nutshell, yun yung magandang description dito sa MSP using yung mga monitoring software na cure, andyan yung problem, but being proactive. So you get to know what could be the problem before it hits you. And then ang maganda kasi dito sa mga monitoring software, example, enable, not just simply monitoring, but at the same time yung single pane of glass na tool. What are the crucial pinpoints sa IT infrastructure? Connectivity, not in proper order, no? Connectivity, AV, yung security papasok, backup, web protection. So yun lang yung mga ilang but the idea is, just imagine mamatay yung mag-bug down yung isa mong PC server, nagkaroon na sunog sa building, but because proactive ka na binabackup mo yun, wala kang, you don't need to worry about your important data, di ba? Kasi naka-backup sa cloud. So yun yung magandang example nung being proactive approach ng mga MSP.
And to help our listeners understand then the gravity of that issue or concern is, we're almost, I'd say 90% na siguro digital, right? Yung mga ginagawa natin sa buhay natin, day-to-day lives. Imagine, putting your credit card information to specific platforms. For example, like the shopping e-commerce sites. If you purchase something online, it's vulnerable sa diba? Sa sa breaches
everyone,
and all. So I think this is a call to action, not just for private companies. This topic right here, we have call to action as well to local government units and all, to kind of strengthen yung yung setup natin, para at least we end up having a more secured country, space, experience, like yung shopping experience natin, where hindi tayo matatakot na sometimes meron akong gustong bilhin to be honest. Pero hindi ko binibili. Kasi I don't trust yung site, I don't trust yung link. Natatakot ako baka sometimes I get hacked or whatever, right? So
actually
To your point, magandang topic din yan na siguro next podcast yung technology literacy.
Yes.
Literacy in a way na no jargons and everything.
Yes, yeah.
What are the best practices that they can think of? Ano ba yung mga red flag?
Yeah.
They receive an email. What are the things that they could check just to make sure they're being scammed or not?
Yeah, in a layman's term, like yung a grade 1 student could understand kung ano yung mga sinasabi natin. And it's awareness. Not necessarily kailangan mong bumili ng $100 million software or hardware appliance. But it's really about, awareness. Now, there are some steps that you can take in order to be proactive, try to prevent anything from happening, going down the drain. So,
nagamit na natin ilang beses proactive.
Yeah.
Napakagandang word.
Yes, absolutely. And before we dive in, lastly dun sa other economic drivers ng economic growth, maybe let's try to pivot a little bit sa career learnings that you were able to apply to your personal life, to your family, your household. Is it all right, like, transition tayo sa parenting approach? Is that all right for you?
Actually, not comfortable.
Oh.
No. Let's go. I mean,
Yeah, you have a very beautiful family and kids, and shout out to Ja and your kids. So what was it like to juggle work as well as provide guidance to your 3 beautiful children?
I guess that's the beauty of being a parent. It's definitely a humbling experience.
Yeah.
Why? Because I treat it as me and my wife guide yung mga kids. It's not just a one-way kind of process. Humbling because me and my wife, we are definitely seeing ourselves as work in progress. Still work in progress pa din kami as a parent. Na as our kids sees that, na ayaw naming parang idea na because you are parents, everything we say, you follow them. Siguro lagi ko yung sa kanilang sinasabi, yung everything that you do, not just in school. I mean, maganda rin yun kung ba't ka ba nag-aaral, di ba? I mean, babalik tayo dun sa question, what's the purpose of me doing this? No. So ganun na example yung ba't sila nag-aral, bakit nila kailangan mag-aral, not just ito yung
for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But it's really about trying to maybe pave your way, yung path mo. Kasi when we were kids, 7 years old, we don't know what we want. But we want to do the things that makes us happy. So yung outside influence wala pa. So imagine someone like put someone like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old inside a playground. You can't hold their attention, right? So you'll only be able to pull them back sa'yo kapag pauwi na kayo, pero they're like doing what they want. They're screaming, they're playing and all. But this that was back then. Now this time around it's different. Madaming distractions. Meron tayong digital, meron tayong mga iPad, may mga the behavior of our kids are far different from we were back then. Discipline is a very sensitive topic. So there are different areas or different parenting styles that is happening across all the archipelago. So how do you kind of I reckon it's tough. So how do you manage that? Yung modern style.
Good question. Siguro yun. As a parent, I always start with that posture of being humble. Because by being humble, you tend to strengthen yung pinaka-importante. Not just on a parent to a child perspective, but yung word na relationship eh.
Yeah.
It's something na relatable from friend, from colleagues. So it's yun yung importante na you get to build that strong relationship. Because naniniwala ko na if you have that strong relationship, a harmonious relationship sa mga anak mo, you get to for them to open up.
Yeah.
To open up na regardless magkamali sila, going back dun sa set to fail. Ako, I always remind my kids, example na lang dun sa school. Going back to yung purpose.
Yeah.
Your purpose going to school doesn't revolve on grades, numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers, andyan yan to gauge, but it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
You get lower grades. Again, failure. May tuturo sa'yo yan eh. Di ba? May tuturo sa'yo what are the things na I need to work on, to improve on. Now, if you get those, in application sa, pag tumanda kayo, magkakatrabaho kayo, magkakaroon kayo ng sariling pamilya. So, siguro ito yung isang I can impart na don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Kasi on a different perspective, for sure may ituturo sa'yo yung failure na yun. And at the same time, again, may mga failures kasi na can be avoided, lalo na yung mga life decisions and everything. Yung mga failures kasi na pwede nating or mga decision na it could impact yung future natin. Look around yourself, makikita mo na yung ano na yun eh, yung mga failures na yun. So that necessarily mean na you need to experience it, but try to look dun sa surroundings, environment mo. For sure makikita mo na yung outcome eh. And then yun, it's up to you. It's up to you if you're gonna do the same thing, same decision.
I like what you shared because actually, believe it or not, when I handled a team of folks dati, I always tell them to see, whenever you're doing goal setting, for example, you're setting up your goals and all, and quota or whatever, I always tell them to see yourself from a third person perspective. And that's exactly what you said, right? Try to see yourself from a third person perspective, see your surroundings, see who are the people that are eventually on a rough patch, nagkakaroon sila ng failure, but see yung the key takeaways, yung lessons doon sa mga nangyayari na yun. And I think it's very important para sa mga anak-anak natin, sa daughter ko, sa mga kids mo, especially doon sa mga upcoming generation these days, because everything is cluttered already. Social media, there's TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So a lot of bad content is out there. So hopefully this is a call to action to a lot of our kids, younger generations, to try to make sure practice diligence, yung filter yung content na pumapasok sa inyo, kasi andyan yan, hindi mawawala yung mga content na yan, But it's our job, our personal job to make sure, teka, totoo ba to o hindi? Is this fake news or is it correct? Is this is this true or is this false? Is this the right thing to do or is it the wrong thing to do? So thank you for sharing that because it's a wake up call, not just for myself but also for my kid because my kid she actually opens up to us, which is I really love that relationship na she opens her day to day yung for example
anak mo
yeah and day to day na nangyayari sa school. So and that means she trusts us wholeheartedly, right? So and to other to our listeners, if you have any stories, topics, maybe need help on something where we can provide some insights as well. We're not the experts, just a disclaimer.
Definitely.
But in terms of we have a fair share of our own life experiences that hopefully can help you. Right. So to wrap this up, Louie, lastly, I always ask my guests from their perspective because since network and security as well as entrepreneurship is really a key business driver for economic growth. Now, going back to Philippines, what are the areas that you think we should prioritize to help automate or optimize? So, for example, is it technology infrastructure? Is it utilities infrastructure? Or maybe is it renewable energy? Maybe is it solar or is it hydro or is it the wind? Or is it more of cybersecurity, internet connectivity, or data centers? I mean, from your angle, from your ano sa tingin mo dapat na inuuna natin?
Siguro reason I'll be choosing this opportunity kasi syempre example yung mga renewable, I cannot really dive into the topic kasi yung ano naman natin yung background. Siguro I'll just stick with IT. So I'll put this on this perspective na yung IT para siyang ulam na you need to have the right blend of ingredients para makuha mo yung totality nung yung masarap na ulam. So sa IT, so yun nga, I gave what are the aspects na like backup, AV, content filtering and everything, yung connectivity. So we need to we need to put all of those aspect na as an IT admin, going back dun sa word na proactive, by using these technologies, yung example ng software, RMM software na I get to experience right now yung sa Enable. You don't need to compromise things Pwede mong mag-backup ka, pwede ka naka-enable yung AV mo, pwede kang mag-web filtering wherein you get to manage all of those.
Nice.
Hindi na yung IT kasi na old school is you need to sit down on a chair, look into your screen, but yun is install the software, deploy mo yung mga things na yun, and then at least you get to focus on some other things like importante you get to have a new clients, di ba? I mean more than revenue, it's more on the behavior na I believe na as long as you have the right behavior, things will fall into place. Like revenue and everything, if they get to see na or you were referred by a friend na this MSP is good. So yun, if it will come into naturally na yung
revenues and everything.
Yeah, like I like what you said about, you know, no, ano yun, yung one size, it's not one size fits all sa technology, and then we can't expect na whenever you purchase one software, one tool, it will automatically do everything for us. It's also about, you know, learning it, trying to make sure na it's within your control, it's within your grasp, yung ano, para you're efficiently utilizing your time, right? So, yeah.
Yep.
This is very, you know, I think very helpful. In my call to action here, we're not, yung podcast doesn't have any sponsors and all, but really yung call to action ko is being able to help yung decisions. So for example, hopefully yung LGUs are listening to this, private sectors are listening to this, so you can easily reach out to the folks, like to Louie, you can reach out to him. We'll put the links to the description below, and then, you know, we can, if you have any comments, topics, suggestions, if you're liking the show, give it a thumbs up, you know, hit the notification bell, and we'll probably set another episode, and then you know, discuss more interesting topics. So that's it for now. You're listening to Set to Fail podcast. This is Joseph Indolos. I look forward in seeing you in the next episode.
Stay safe, everyone.
Have a great day. And there you have it. We hope you enjoyed and learned a lot in this episode. And if you did, please subscribe to YouTube, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, also reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcast. This would really help the show to continue creating more and more insightful content for us to learn together. Thank you very much. Have a great day.